Right, Year 7, about to do some more subtracting fractions, and we're going to look at mixed numerals now. So I'm going to look at exercise 6C, and we're going to look at question 7, and again I'm going to do the third column. So here we go, let's have a look at the first one. So 7C. So I've got 8 and 11 over 14 minus 7 and 9 on 14. Well, this is similar to the way that we added fractions. We can do it in two parts. We can do the 8 minus 7, and then we can do the 11/14 once, because minus 9 on 14, because this is a whole number. And we can take the whole parts minus the whole parts, and then take the fraction minus the fraction. So that looks pretty good. Let's try that. 8 minus 7, and we're going to have 11 on 14 minus 9 on 14. Well, that'll give us one whole, because 8 minus 7. And I'm getting 11 on 14 minus 9 on 14. The denominator stays the same. 11 minus 9 is 2. Well, we could stop there. That answer is correct. But we can make it simpler, because 2 on 14 we can cancel. 2 goes into itself once, and 2 goes into 14 7 times. So I can get 1 and a 7th, which is the simplest fraction answer. Well, that was a bit difficult. Let's have a look at another one. Let's go to G. Subtraction is more difficult than addition. So I've got 9 and 5. Oh no, actually I might do another one so that we can get a bit more of that. So I'll do one where the denominators are the same. So let's do 7A, where I've got 3 and 4/5 minus 2 and 1/5. Well, we'll subtract the whole numbers, 3 minus 2. And then and notice I keep putting a plus in between there, because 3 and 4/5 is the same as 3 plus 4 on 5. So I'm putting a plus in between this fractional bit here. So 4/5 minus 1/5. So I'm subtracting the wholes and subtracting the fractional parts and then adding them together. 3 minus 2 is 1. And over here, my denominator stays the same. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So 1 and 3/5. And that's right. All right, let's have a look at another one. Let's go G. Now we're getting a little bit harder, because I've got 9 and 5/6 minus 5 and 4/9. Well, I can do the whole numbers again. 9 minus 5. And then I've got 5/6 minus 4/9. Well, 9 minus 5 is 4. Now, this fractional change here, this operation here, I've got to get a common denominator. And this is going to be hard. So now we're talking some pretty hard stuff. I could go 6 times 9 to get the lowest common denominator, to get the common denominator. And I know that's 54. But I know that I might be able to find a smaller one. So let's go 9, 18, 27, and I'll just stop there. And let's go the multiples of 6. I get 6 12, 18. Oh, and there it is. There's my common denominator, 18. 18 will be the lowest common denominator I can get. So 5 on 6. I have to multiply that top and bottom by 3. And I'll just keep going underneath here. I'll do this bit first. 4 plus 15 on 18. And I'm doing this separately, so I'm going to just put it in brackets. Keep it nice and neat. Let's go to the next bit. 4 on 9. Well, what do I do to the 9 to make it 18? Well, I have to multiply by 2. Now, 4 2s are 8, and 2 9s are 18. And now I've got a common denominator. So I keep that 4 out the front, and it's a plus. And 15 minus 8 is 7. And I'll leave the denominator alone. And I'll just remove that plus sign now, because even though I know it's there, I don't need to write it. And that's a little bit untidy, so I'll fix that 7 up. 7 on 18. And there we go. And that's subtracting fractions. So that's pretty easy. But let's have a look at a really difficult one and a different method to what we can do. Let's have a look at question 8. And again, I'm going to do the third column, so 8C. And I've got 13 and a half. And I'm going to do this one two ways. 13 and a half minus 8 and 5/6. And I know this is going to be pretty dangerous because when I look at the fractions, I've got a half and I'm going to subtract 5/6. And I can't do that unless I have a knowledge of negative numbers. But we already have done negative numbers, so we should be right. So I'm going to do it a certain way to begin with, and then I'm going to do an alternate way afterwards. So let's stick with the way we've been doing. So let's go 13 minus 8 plus, and again I'm going to put this in brackets, a half minus 5/6. Well, 13 minus 8 is easy, I get 5. Now, again, I need a common denominator. Now, I could go 2 times 6 and get 12. But let's do my 2 times tables. 2, 4, 6. Oh, 6. Well, I can just use 6 as a common denominator. Okay. So I have 1 on 2. To make that into 6, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. And I'm going to leave that 5/6 alone. It's already a 6th. And then I get 5 plus, well, 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Now here I have a problem, and I can go one of two ways. I'm going to do one way over here for the people who don't like negative numbers, and one way over here for the people who do. So I've got 5 plus 3 on 6 minus this 5 on 6. I've got to take 5/6 away. Now I can't go 3 minus 5. It's smaller. So I'm going to take a whole off that and give a whole to here. 1 and 3, 6. It's like the borrow and payback method that you learn. In fact, it is the borrow and payback method, but it's another story. And then, so I get 4, and I make this an improper fraction. So I multiply that by 6, multiply there, and add it to 3. So 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. I've now got 9 on 6, minus 5 on 6. And I can do that, and that'll give me 4 on 6. Oh, and look at this, even more. I can cancel. 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. Wow, this was a hard one. 4 and 2/3. Now, if you don't like that, if you think you can do this subtraction and hold on to the negative, watch what you can do here. I can go 3 on 6 minus 5 on 6, and I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go, I know how to do that. I'll get negative 2 on 6. And now I've just got a subtraction. I've got a plus there. There's a plus there, but we know that a plus and a minus will make a subtraction, so I've just got 5 minus 2, 6. And I go, okay, well, that'll give me 4 and 6 on 6 minus 2 on 6. 4 and 6 minus 2 is 4 on 6. And we already know that's 4 and 2/3. Doesn't matter which way you do it, you both get the same answer. And we know being able to do many different methods makes you a better mathematician. Now, how would mum and dad have done it? Or there is an alternate way. So this is a third way for doing this subtraction. So 3.5 minus 8 and 5, 6. Let's see if we can get a third way. 3.5 minus, no, it's not, that's 13.5 minus 8 and 5, 6. 8 and 5, 6. Well, let's make improper fractions. So 2 times 3 is 26, plus a 1 is 27. 27 on 2. You need to be good at multiplication to do this. 6 times 8 plus 5. Well, 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 5 is 53. So you have to be good. Now, we already know from our previous bit up here that the lowest common denominator is 6. See how we did it up here? So we don't need to change that second fraction. I can leave it as a 6, but I do need to change this one. So I'm going to have to times by 3. Now, the other multiplications I could do in my head because I know up to my 12 times tables. So I can do the bottom bit, and that's easy. That's going to be 6. And I've got this minus 53 on 6. But this 27 times 3, I'm going to go over here and do 27 times 3. Well, 3 sevens are 21. 3 twos are 6, 81. So I get 81 over 6. Now, I have to do this. Well, the denominator stays the same. It's a 6. And I get 81 minus 53. Oh, even harder. I've got to do the borrow and pay back method, but we already did it before. 1 minus 3 we can't do, so we'll borrow and pay back. We'll take from here, we'll take 7, and we'll give that 10. So that's 11 minus 3 is 4. Oh, I'm a silly duffer. 11 minus 3. 11 minus 3 is 8. And 7 minus 5 is 2. So I'm going to get, when I do this, 81 minus 53, I'm going to get 28 over 6. Whew. Now, remember, we know that the vinculum just means divided by. So let's just see. How many times would 6 go into 28? Well, I think it'd go 4 times. 4 6s are 24. So we'll get 4 times. And if 4 sixes are 24, that leaves me 4 out of 6. And I can cancel. 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 6 3 times, which gives me 4 2/3, which is the simplest answer. And there we go. We've got the same answer doing 3 different methods. Now, the method that will work all the time, well, you can use any method, they'll all work. But the one that most people will do, your mum and dad, and maybe some mathematicians or maths teachers or tutors will show you, will be to make it an improper fraction. But you have to be good at multiplying. And sometimes the numbers can get very big. This method, these 2 methods above, I think are a lot easier and might be a way for you to decide that's the method you're going to do. Especially when you come up to ones like 9C. Imagine doing 9C, making them improper fractions. Already 1's an improper fraction, but it can get pretty bad. Anyway, you have to do that on your hot sheet. So good luck with that.